Hey, Jeff here, and today we're going to do another flipping video. This time I'm going to do 2 hours with 1 mil. Let's see how much I can make. As I get my offers set up here, I'll talk about what inspired me to make this video. So I made one recently where I was flipping with 500 mil, and someone left a comment saying that I could only maybe make 100k or less with some luck doing this with 1 mil. So I was like, you know what? I took that personally.
That's all I needed. That's all I needed for him to do that, and it became personal with me.
The hardest part when you're flipping with lower amounts of money, like 1 mil, 5 mil, 10 mil, is that your pool of items is significantly smaller than when you have like 50, 100 mil. But the thing with flipping is the more money you make, the more items you can flip and the more money you can make. So as long as you're dedicated and keep with it, you can always make some money. So the first bit of this video is just me looking at the website, looking for items. I'll put my filters on screen too of what I use. And you can see I've highlighted a nice RuneScape yellow. The buy price of 1 for the minimum max of 500,000, because I figured if I could find one decent item that amount to try to flip, I would try it. And the daily volume of 50, because that means there's at least 2 an hour going at the minimum, which if I was doing this for 2 hours, I need some sort of liquidity in the item. So that's the basics for why I use those filters. I don't use any paid services, I just use the RuneScape prices wiki, and I'll link it in the description down below. The first steps when you're flipping is to try to just find some items that work for you. So I just go through the wiki. I'm opening up probably like 30 tabs and checking out all the items and looking for some that have good gaps between the buy and sell price and a decent amount of volume moving, which is why you'll see me try many different items, and once they start working, I'll try to explain more why I picked those items. The first D sword sold, which made me really excited, because I was like, alright, that's a solid 8k profit, 8.5k profit, so I instantly try to buy another one, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, alright, well that works. I'm like, alright, now time for the old fun part about flipping is sitting and waiting, and boom, another one sold. I'm like, alright, this could be a decent little thing. But sometimes when that instant buy happens, you get this little sick feeling in your stomach, because that means you might be way off of the price, so you might be buying the people's sells, and you're in for a rude awakening then. But yeah, so I found these Catadine blood potions as well. They're like a higher level herbalore potion that has some pretty good volume, but they're pretty high price, so you can actually make a little bit of money off of them. So yeah, another D sword sold, so that's another 8k. So I canceled out the granite hammer, and I'm like, I'm going to invest a bunch of money in these D swords. Ceridome light buys. I'm like, alright, things are starting to move. The first 10 minutes I was a little bit scared, and after like the next 5 minutes I'm like, alright, this could work. So I found some more items as these items were going, and the momentum really started taking off. Trying the Bando's cloak out. I have a dragon sword, looks like it came through right away, which I was trying to get a little bit nervous about those, but I'm like, alright, you know, 8k profit, I'll take that. 3 of them be 24k. The crystal weapon seed sold for like a 3k profit, so I tried to undercut my buy, and I'm going to try to sell it for a little bit more by my sell price for like a 7k profit. I find these divine battle mage potions now that I have a little bit more money from making a little bit of profit, so I'm checking the price right now. I'm like, alright, I can make a little bit on it, so I try that. Ancient D high body sells, that's a 22k profit. I'm pretty psyched about that. Get the battle mage for 24.6k. Pretty happy about that. Checking the wiki for the price, and I'm like, alright, so 24.6k, I should be able to sell it for 29k. So that's a good like 5k profit on one potion. So the D swords are starting to move through. If you want to keep track of where I am in the video, the little timer on the bottom right there where it says like a minute or an hour 32 left, there are like cuts throughout the video, because there's the thing about flipping is you have a long downtime, so you might as well be playing on another account or doing something else in the game. But for the video purpose, I stay at the GE. But if I was doing this normally, I would be probably like going to do agility or something like that and come back like every 15-20 minutes instead of just sitting here staring at the screen. I also haven't flipped with this little bit amount of money besides like the first or second dead man mode in a very long time. So it was pretty fun for me to get back into trying to find items that are under that 200-300k mark instead of looking for things that are like 40 to 50 mil to flip. So yeah, the dragon swords came through, so I got all 5 of them without selling any of them as they came through, which really kind of started making me nervous. The Bando's cloaks, that was an awesome 20k profit if that one sells, which, spoiler, it does sell. Fun thing with low money flipping is you can flip items like the Circle and other items like this blood bark, which I never even really thought about existing in the game, but this blood bark body actually is a really good item, and I'll show you why on the screen right now. One of the things I look for when I'm doing flips is a consistent buy and a consistent sell price. As long as that gap between the two is consistent and it's a decent amount of money over that 1% GE tax. So for these it'd be like a 1.7k tax on the selling price, which is like nothing. It eats into your profit a little bit, but if you're making 10k per at 1.7, shoot, yeah, you make 8.3k instead. That's not that big of a deal. During these 2 hours, I was making 7k per blood bark body. Panda's cloak. If you've made it this far, please like the video and subscribe for more. It helps me and this channel out a lot. Thank you. So I had to drop the dragon sword price, I should say, down to 76k each. So I pretty much was breaking even on them. But every ancient body at least was a 20k profit. So I'm up to like 3 or 4 of those. Almost made 100k on those alone. But yeah, the D swords were one of those items that had too much volatility in their price, and I should have been aware of that when I was doing it. But that's part of the process of flipping. You have some big wins, you have some losses, and you have some break evens. I think I maybe still made 5k on all of those D swords, not including the ones I actually made the 7k on. So in the end I made maybe 10k profit. But yeah, the blood bark bodies I actually started putting in for a little bit lower price, so I started making a little bit around 7k per each one. So I found a decent item in those. If I would have found those earlier on, I would have been sitting and making a little bit more of that gravy, if you know what I mean. I'm going to show an item on screen now that is like the complete opposite of the blood bark bodies. If you see the buy and sell price kind of chasing each other like a mouse being chased by a cat, then you know that's not a good item, because that means the buy and sell price are almost the same all of the time. And even though if you maybe are the patient and you buy it at the lowest of the green and wait for it to sell at the high of the orange, then you could be making some good money. But for the sake of a 2-hour video, bad item. One of my favorite things about flipping is that you get to try many different items, and sometimes you can find something that's like a gold mine, and you get a pretty good dopamine rush from finding an item that you can make like 200-300k off of. But when you're starting with 1 mil, you got to keep your expectations down, but you can make money with 1 mil, contrary to what that guy commented on that video, and contrary to what probably some people are thinking watching this video. But you can make money. It just takes a little bit of patience, and it's exponential. So the more money you make, the more money you can invest, and the more money you'll make back, or you can lose it all in with one real bad flip. But that doesn't happen too often, not like it used to back in those merchanting clan days, which, if you know, ancient D-high body was still moving well, blood bark bodies are moving really well. I was feeling pretty good about an hour into this. I'm like, you know, I'm definitely gonna beat that guy's record. I even texted my girlfriend and I'm like, I'm gonna beat that guy's comment, and she said I knew you would, because she knows that I took it personally. Sometimes you have to learn when you're at a loss with an item, and just to try to get out of that item to get the money back, which is what I'm doing with those catadine blood potions right now. Currently checking the Guthix price. I'm like, what can I make on it? Turns out about 9k per, but the price, like the amount sold per hour, isn't that high on those, so they're not too great of an item. But I'm like, you know what, if I can make 8-9k off of it, I might as well just keep trying until I can find something else. So there's another one goes for 9k profit, just waiting for the blood bark bodies. The wizard boots were an absolute fail. I'm like, you know what, a shoulder parrot, those treasure trail items can be pretty decent, because there's not too many people looking to buy them, and sometimes people who get those items in a treasure trail are just going to the GE and slamming it in for a low price, and I want to be that guy that's like, you know what, give me that low price. The mystic boots, baby, these were fun. They had a huge gap between the buy and sell price. Blood bark bodies still flying through, but the mystic boots had like, I think they're buying around 13. I think I went, yeah, for 13k, and the sell price was around 30k each. So I'm like, man, if I can get some of these quick, I could be making some huge profits. And so that's what I was trying to do. The Divine Battle Mage, they were trying to sell, but the profit really wasn't there anymore. I sold the first one for over 29k, and I had to drop it by a full 1k, and they still weren't moving too well. The Ceradomin's Light finally sold. That was a really good 23k profit. But yeah, Mystic Boots bought, doubling my money with that. So yeah, right there, instantly doubled my money. Well, took like 10 minutes or 5 minutes. Got another D-high body. Potions aren't moving, so I'm dropping them down another 500 gold each. And sadly, the shoulder parrot was a shoulder fail. I was thinking back to my old days of flipping way back in like 2008, and I was like, you know what? Barrow's items used to always be a pretty decent item. So I'm like, Varric's plate skirt, let's try it out. And I get one right away, and I was pretty stoked about that. I'm like, I can't believe it actually might work. And the potential profits rate around 11K per. You can get 15 per 8 hours or 4 hours, but the volatility wasn't there. The liquidity wasn't there. Got 2 Bandos cloaks. That was a big time profit. I was really happy about that. Another Guthix body. So they're consistently moving for about 9K profit. So 3 of them sell. That's 27K. Another Bloodbark body. Each one of those is 7K profit. There's another one. That's another 7K profit. I'm pretty happy with that. It's like almost instant right now with how it's going. I mean, there are some like 8-9 second cuts in between, but Saradomin's Light comes through. Hoping I can make another like 20K profit on that. Mystic Boots moves through. I see that, and I'm like, all right, you know, I'm gonna try to mix up an item here. I'm gonna get Bloodbark bodies, or the Bloodbark legs, since the bodies were moving so well. Get the Mystic Boots, try to sell them for a little under 30K each. They're selling right away. I'm like, all right, this is working out pretty well. I'm pretty happy with the Mystic Boots. It's making me a really good chunk of change here at the end. The Bloodbark bodies and legs are moving. It's all looking gravy for Mr. J. That's me. The Bloodbark legs were only a 4K profit to start, but I did the same thing I did with the Bloodbark bodies as I did with them, where I started buying them for a little bit under what I initially did and selling them for a little bit more, and they ended up getting a little bit more of a decent profit at the end. So the Mystic Boots, I'm trying to buy a little bit more. The price is changing like minute to minute with those, so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try to get them for 14K, sell them for around 30K again. So that's still another, pretty much doubling my money again. Yeah, exactly, a little over doubling the money. So I'm like, I'm gonna try to buy 5, and instantly all 5. That's a terrible, terrible sign. If you see all 5 like that, that's not a good sign. Instantly buying like that means you are the highest bidder, so good luck selling that for a profit. I naively put them in for 25K each, hoping I can make my money back on them, but we'll find out in a little bit here if I can. So we're down to the last 10 minutes, which my mindset in the last 10 minutes when I'm making a video like this is more of just trying to sell everything, and unless it's something that's moving pretty quick, like these Bloodbark items, they're moving fast, but everything else I'm trying to sell. But if you're flipping as a player, not doing challenges for yourself, I would keep the prices in a little bit higher and just let it sell. Like if you have to go to work or to school or going to sleep, it's always good to leave those offers in for a little bit more, because you could get lucky overnight, or if the price drops a lot, you could just lose a bunch of money. So the Mystic Boots, I'm dropping lower and lower, and I'm not having any luck. They were selling 10 minutes ago for 30K each, and now for 21K they won't even move. But the Bloodbark body and legs are still moving well, so I'm happy, but not as happy as I should be. The Saradomin Light wasn't moving again. I still can make a profit if I sell it for 100K, but it's still like only about a 15K profit as we get down to the last 2 minutes. The Bloodbark stuff is still moving quick enough where I'm like, I'm gonna keep flipping the last 2 minutes here, but I'm gonna keep trying to keep everything at a sell offer, so dropping the price of the Mystic Boots even more. So even like 15 minutes ago, those were selling for 29K, 30K each, and now they're selling for 17K. So that's to show you how crazy some of these items can be. But everything is in as a sell, and most of it's still making a profit, which isn't too bad. But now we are out of time. It took about 11 minutes after the 2 hours to sell everything off, which it was either for break even or very small profit, so I don't really count that against me. The last Battle Mage potion sells, and the moment of truth. How much can I make in 2 hours with 1 mil? Is it more than 100K if I'm lucky like that guy said? And yeah, it is. I make almost half a mil in 2 hours. So if you like that, like and subscribe for more. And I'm Jeff, and I'll talk to you next time.